I have your attention, thank you. My sister told me I had to say a few words tonight. So I was supposed to write a speech. I only have a speech. I've been off work quite a while, and as this event approached, started thinking back, reflecting on our life, the Gennady family. It brought me back to Brighton Park, 3811 South Sacramento. That's where we grew up, 3811 South Sacramento. We lived there. We all went to St. Joseph and St. Anne Grammar School. That's where we went to school. It's not even St. Joseph, St. Anne's anymore. It's Our Lady of Fatima. My and Dad still go there. But I remember we went to school there, and we'd go get up in the morning, and Ma'd give us breakfast, and well, Dad'd be gone already. Dad'd be gone already, and
Can't hear you.
get back to the mic. Well, Dad'd be gone already. He'd be off to work. So we go to school, and we come home. And I remember when we come home, we'd have to be very quiet because Dad was laying down. He was taking a nap. Ma'd give him supper when he'd come home from the route, and then he'd take a nap for an hour, and he'd go off to J.M. Corbett and Company. How about it, Dave? J.M. Corbett. My dad would go to J.M. Corbett, and he would mop the floors, clean the ashtrays, do the desks, he'd vacuum. I remember I used to go now and then with him. Big mops, big paths. And also, we had people lived upstairs from us, Herb and Della, I'll never forget them. And Herb delivered produce for Jewel Tea. And on the weekend, once in a while, he'd say, "Hey, Tony, would you like to go make a few bucks and deliver produce with me?" Well, my father would go, then he'd deliver produce, and then he'd come home and he'd go deliver mail. So Dad scrambled. Anytime he could make a buck, he made a buck. And Ma, when I think back about Ma, I remember, you remember them old washing machines they had where the thing be running like hell, and then you take it and this, and then out to the yard if it was nice out, right? Hang out the wash, it was nice. Well, we never had any dirty clothes, never. I'm not kidding you. You look in a drawer, you'd like this. The clothes were clean all the time. You watch perpetually. And the house was immaculate. Like, we didn't have to do nothing, the kids. We didn't have jobs. She did everything. She washed the floor on her hands and knees and waxed it. You kids go out and play. So we did, you know, we're kids. I remember that. And I remember we couldn't go on vacation when we were young. We didn't have any money for vacation. Everybody's going on vacation. Where are you going, Mike? We ain't going nowhere. Same place you went last year, nowhere.
3811 South, whatever, right?
Yeah, 3811 South Sacramento. That's where we're going on vacation. And I remember also, you know, in the evening in the summer, everybody used to sit out, right? We were back in the 50s, you sat out, no drive-by shootings. We'd sit out. And every evening we'd sit out, and the hot dog man would come around. And his name was Pasquale. And he had great hot dogs, terrific hot dogs. It was an event in the neighborhood. Everybody would get a hot dog from Pasquale. We loved them. We couldn't get none. No hot dogs. Never. My ma'd say, "Tony, just, you know, once, let me buy the kids a hot dog." Can't do it. This is true. This is all true. Well, anyway, let's skip ahead a few years. It came time to go to high school, right? So, Dad says to us, listen, I want you to pick out a high school, any high school you want, and go. He says, just don't waste my money. And I'm thinking to myself, how's he going to pay for high school? We can't buy a hot dog. Yeah, I didn't put it together that by us not buying hot dogs and going on vacations, he was preparing for our education. We couldn't buy a house either, because every time he'd get enough for the down payment, the price of the houses would go up. It took him 15 years before we bought our house. So anyway, we got a choice of high schools, and Pat chose, what was the name of that, Pat? Jones Commercial, I remember, Jones Commercial. And that cost money, and my father paid. My brother Jim, he chose St. Rita's, and he went there, and my father paid. I chose Quigley, and I went there, and my father paid. But after the first 2 weeks, I knew Quigley wasn't meant for me. The priest told me that too. So I saved my old man a few bucks, and I went to Kelly High School. And I loved Kelly High School. I loved it. Believe me, I loved it. I loved it so much that I went year-round for 3 years. No, this is the truth. I'm not telling jokes here. 3 years. I went spring, summer, fall, winter. I was there. And my father, he was a great encouragement to me. He would call me by that pet name he had for me. Begins with A, ends with E, 7 letters. And he'd say, I don't care if it takes till you're 40, but you're going to graduate from high school. And I did. 1965, 104 degrees in the auditorium at Kelly High School. I graduated. They were all proud of me. So, those were the high school years. So we got out of high school, and the same deal came for college. Dad said, go to any college you want, but don't waste my money. So Pat, for whatever reason, chose to get a job, you go to work, and chase Dennis. My brother Jimmy went down to Northern Illinois and got his degree, and Dad paid for it. Jimmy came home, he went to DePaul and got his master's degree. Dad paid for it. Me, I chose to also go to college, and I chose the University of Southeast Asia School of Warfare. And I graduated in 1968. Little did we know that the bill would come for that 15 years later. And Dad paid for that too. He was there. But that's another story. So anyway, that's what I call our college years. We all came home. We all lived at home. We didn't move out. But soon we all got married. Pat got married, she moved 3 blocks away. I got married, I moved 2 blocks away. Jimmy got married, he moved out to northern suburbs. But we were close. Our family's close. Jimmy would come home, he'd come to my house, he'd go to Pat's, go to Ma's, or we'd go out to Jimmy's. But if we didn't see Ma and Dad once a week, we'd talk to them on the phone 4, 5, 6 times a week. Now, you think I'm making that up, but I'm not. To this day, we call 4, 5, 6 times a week. And if you don't believe me, You call my ma's house, and I give you 1 in 10, you get a babysitter. That's true. We're close. We're very close. So anyway, we all got married, and as these things happen, we presented our mom and our dad with 7 grandchildren. And they were happy. And they were there for all the christenings and all that goes with it. And throughout the years, we had our ups and downs. But when we had our downs, Mom and Dad were there for us. If you needed a babysitter on the weekend, Mom and Dad were there. I needed a babysitter, and this is true, for 5 years. 5 years I had to drop my daughter off in the morning, and then she had to go there after school. 5 years they watched my baby. So they were there for us through good times and bad times as the years went on. If you needed money, call Tony. Now, anybody that knows my father real well knows that my father is very astute with a dollar. Am I right, Dave? Now, my father knows how to make money. He knows how to make his money work for him. He's very shrewd. But when it comes to his kids, he's got a different kind of man. Now, I've borrowed money from him, and it always turns out, if I borrow like $500 from him, he'll sit down and explain to me, well, you're going to pay back this, Mike, and you're going to pay this much interest. And then you go on and you come 1 month and you give him the money, and he says, well, that changed, we're going to do this. Pretty soon he's got you totally confused. And it seems like every loan I took out with him, if I borrowed $500, when it was done, I had $800, and I was even with him. So when it comes to his children, Dad had a different kind of man. Well, recently, our family has been blessed because God chose to give my mom and dad, my sister, Dennis, these babies here. That's Megan, that's Brittany, and that's Gigi, and that's Papa. And Gigi and Papa love those babies. And every week, they're at my mom and dad's house. Every week. Laura never fails to bring them over, and when they come over, it's like Christmas. You see my dad's eyes light up. I mean, they're the anticipation. Sometimes they come twice a week. They stay all day. It's great. It's terrific. It's funny how God works. But God visited us earlier, before these children came. And they took our brother. And they took my mother and father's son. They took Jimmy, our Jimmy. Now you have to understand that Jimmy was our little brother. And Jimmy was my mother and father's baby. And we loved Jimmy. He was the beacon of the family. CPA, father, beautiful children, beautiful wife. And I was devastated. I didn't know how to deal with it. But my mother and father, they dealt with it. And I was amazed how they dealt with it. I still am. With quiet dignity, they dealt with it. And I learned a lot. I'm sure Pat did too. And to this day, they suffer because our Jimmy's gone. But we deal with it. And I learned so much that I think I can deal with anything because I'm their son. So, some people might say that, well, Gennadi's had a long and winding road, ups and downs, and bumps here and there, just like everybody else. But to them I would say, you're wrong. You're wrong. We've had a straight and narrow road, smooth as silk, not a bump in the road, because that road was built on the undying love that my mother and father have for each other. That's how that road was built. Mom and Dad, we love you. Thanks for coming. Enjoy.